Yeah, so I'm all in on JaMarr Chase if you can get him in the middle of the first round. Like I'm taking JaMarr Chase over guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown. I might even take JaMarr Chase over Tyreek Hill. And as crazy as that sounds, hear me out here.
That does
Tyreek
sound
Hill's
crazy.
another year older. Tyreek Hill broke down last year. And he got hurt, obviously, in week 14, cost a lot of people like me money, in the FFPC divisional titles. But his body broke down. Why did it break down? Well, remember a lot of games last year, Tyreek Hill would limp off to the sideline. Somehow he comes back in. So he was banged up, even though he didn't miss a lot of time. They also forced Tyreek the football because he was chasing the 2,000 yards. Jalen Waddle was also injured. Jalen Waddle was not very good last year. And he's going to be healthy. There is a world where, hey, like we want Tyreek Hill healthy for a full 16 games. We don't want his body to break down. We have a healthy Jalen Waddle. We have a nice stable of running backs. So, like, I don't, will Tyreek Hill see that type of target volume? I'm not saying he's not worth a top pick, but I think I'm taking JaMarr Chase over Tyreek Hill.
Okay. I'm not, but okay. That's
All right.
why
That's fair.
that's why I played the stay off the weed music. But yeah,
Why?
I just because Tyreek is Tyreek. I think Tyreek is going to finish better than JaMarr Chase. I think Tyreek would finish better than JaMarr Chase, even if there wasn't a contract thing looming. And if you want to make a pizza bet based on with the preface, it would have to be JaMarr Chase would have to be on the field week 1. If he's on the field week 1, this would be a null and void bet.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
would just tell you,
Let's
all right,
rock it. I am down. JaMarr Chase will have a better fantasy season in PPR than Tyreek Hill.
okay. Well, I mean, you're wrong, but that's okay. I will enjoy your pizza, and I appreciate you very much. Again, this is a null and void bet. If it just so happens that JaMarr Chase is not out there for week 1, we hope he is. His teammate T. Higgins, though. Let's do this real quick. Again, he played in 12 games. He's up 4.4 spots. Like I said, had to imagine this has to do with JaMarr Chase, 53.2 right now in terms of ADP. Only played in 12 games last year, was wide receiver 49. I like Higgins. I think Higgins will be good. I also think we have to keep looking at this is probably his swan song in Cincinnati. So there's always that contract year. Player wants to play good. Anthony, I don't think there's too much to go on to beyond that. We can get to the next player, but do you have any thoughts there on Higgins that you maybe didn't get to earlier?
I don't feel like I touched on T. Higgins at all earlier. So, yeah, I
Well, you
want to
started
talk a
reading
little
off his
bit
numbers by accident.
by accident.
Okay.
I want to focus on T. Higgins right now.
Sure.
And I'll put this out there. And this is the first time I'm saying it. For a couple years, people were arguing that T. Higgins is better. There were people saying he was better than JaMarr Chase. There were people saying, hey, it's not a 1A and 1B. It's like they're that close where it's like a 1A, 1B. It's not a 1 and a 2. T. Higgins, all these years going in the second round and falling on his face, he's now at a respectable average draft position where I'm now willing to draft him. I full faded T. Higgins every other year until now because I just don't know. Like he's not a number 1 wide receiver. Like if you think that he hits the open market or like if Cincy was going to try to trade him, like he's not getting Brandon Ayuk money. He's not getting that. He's not a number 1 wide receiver. Like this isn't a Brandon Ayuk situation.
Well, he might get it only because, and I agree that he's not that, but it's one of those things where it's like the market dictates X, Y, Z. This is how Jimmy Garoppolo became the highest paid quarterback in football at one point, if you could believe it.
Look at this guy's numbers. You put him next to Ayuk blows this guy away. And Ayuk's been getting better every year, arguably a worse quarterback. A lower volume passing team, and Ayuk's been getting it done. T. Higgins has not. Now, I hope to God it gets done this year because at cost, T. Higgins is a good value. He's playing for a contract, whether it's in Cincy or elsewhere. This team's chasing a Super Bowl, but I just don't know what we're getting in T. Higgins. outside of 2021, where he was the wide receiver 12 in fantasy points per game, just under 1,100 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns, 14.7 yards per catch. Like, he's been outside of the top 26 in points per game every other season. And oh, by the way, last year, he only played in 12 games, so he missed some time with a hamstring injury. So I have a lot more reservations about T. Higgins. But again, like where you're drafting him now, I can swallow that bullet because every other, and Mike, you remember, past couple of years, he's going to the second round. He's, like people were viewing him expecting to get, like Devonta Smith production next to A.J. Brown, or, I want that Jalen Waddle production next to Tyreek Hill. We've only gotten that one season, and that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, I agree.